Some Pokemon moves are so dangerously broken that competitive formats had no choice but to ban them forever. Not because they're necessarily strong, but because they literally let you win games without effort. No counterplay and just no real gameplay at all. These moves didn't hurt the metagame, they completely broke it, to the point where letting them stay legal would make competitive Pokemon unplayable. After this video you will understand why these moves were erased from Smogon competitive and why it's insane they were even allowed to begin with. Starting off with the thumbnail star, Shed Tail. One of the dumbest, most uncompetitive moves Game Freak has ever dropped into singles. You pay half your HP, create a substitute, and instantly pass it to whatever broken Pokemon you want. No counterplay, no prediction. Here's just your free setup turn. Now enjoy your sweep. And what did this do to the metagame? It turned the tier into hyper offense hell. Dual screens, suicide leads everywhere. Whatever you wanted behind that sub was on the team. If Shadow activated once, the game would basically be over. And the worst part is that the Pokemon Cyclizar was intentionally designed to abuse this move. You cannot tell me otherwise. 130 speed, regenerator, so losing half your HP doesn't even matter. Knockoff, rapid spin and U-turn for even more utility. Of course this dumb Pokemon was gonna get banned. However, even with Cyclizar banned, that didn't stop players from abusing Shed Tail. Even Earthworm, a Pokemon that legitimately does nothing, became OU viable purely because it learned Shed Tail. That's how stupid this move was. If Earthworm can win games with it, the move is a problem. Shed Tail warped the meta so hard that Smogon didn't just ban Cyclizar, but banned the entire move from the OU tier. And you know what? This ain't even close to the most absurd ban on this list. The sleep moves almost never get banned in competitive singles. So the fact that Gen 9 had to ban them says everything you need to know. And no, this wasn't another Gen 5 situation where the sleep mechanics were absurdly broken. The mechanics are fine, but the Pokemon abusing sleep were not. Of course we had the sleep class, but even that wasn't enough. Darkrai and Iron Valiant turned Hypnosis into a win condition. They were fast, insanely strong, and if Hypnosis landed even once, the entire game could flip instantly. Because your check would basically be gone, and your counterplay as well. Suddenly you were staring at a boosted Darkrai or Iron Valiant, now punching holes through your team. And even with the terrible accuracy of 60%, Hypnosis is still in the user's favor of landing. And you only really need to land it once to snowball the entire match or gain a massive lead. Darkrai would run Focus Sash lead sets using Hypnosis to put something to sleep early on and start punching holes to gain a massive advantage. Not to mention its ability Bad Dreams also dealing passive chip damage every turn. Iron Valley on the other hand would use Hex in combination with Terra Ghost to blow past any potential check that would dare to switch in. At some point the sleep class just didn't even matter anymore, and when a rule that existed for so long fails, that's when you know something is wrong. So sleep moves weren't banned because of the mechanic itself, but they were banned because the users abused them so hard that the entire tier became unstable. Last Respects is the most broken move ever created, and one of the only moves banned from Ubers. Ubers, the tier where broken Pokemon go when they're too broken for OU, and even they couldn't handle this. It starts at a measly 50 base power, but gains plus 50 every time a teammate faints, capping at a unreal 300 base power. During its time in OU, the only abuser was Houndstone, a Pokemon so mid no one would ever care about it if it didn't have this move. But with Last Respects plus Choice Band, it could one-hit KO the entire tier, even resists. And thanks to his ability Sand Rush, you could not outspeed it either. There were no pivots, no revenge killing, no counterplay, nothing. The only counterplay you had was watching your team die. It was so toxic players were running Terra Normal purely to avoid getting swept, while Houndstone teams were happily sacrificing 4 teammates with Memento just to max out the move. When has sacrifice your whole team ever been a viable strat? Houndstone got banned in 2 days, one of the fastest bans ever. But the story doesn't end there, because when Pokemon Home dropped, things got even worse. Basically Legion arrived, which is stronger, faster, and with Swift Swim also to double its speed. Paired with Kyogre and Ubersteer became a massacre. Smogon didn't just ban Basque Legion from Ubers, but they banned the move instead. And Ubers barely bans anything. So if that doesn't tell you how unbalanced Last Respects is, nothing will. One-hit KO moves have been banned from competitive singles for ages. And for good reason. These moves are pure RNG. You press a button, you roll dice, and if it lands, your opponent's Pokemon just dies. There's no damage roll, no counterplay, nothing. It's like playing Mario Party. No skill, only luck. You can win every minigame and still lose. With one-hit KO moves, you can play bad and win by one-hit KOing everything. Sheer Cold, Fissure, Guillotine, Horn Drill, doesn't matter what move you pick. They all ignore stats, ignore skill, and just delete a Pokemon. And yeah, they might only have 30% accuracy, but that doesn't matter. Because landing even one basically hands you a massive advantage, and bulky Pokemon can just spam them over and over again. There's no decision making, no prediction, just straight up gambling. And Game Freak loves gambling. You wanna know something? 30% accuracy is the same as focused miss missing. So every time you miss focus miss, just remember, you would have hit a Sheer Cold. Just like one-hit KO moves, evasion boosting has been banned for generations as well. And it deserves it even more. Because while OHKO moves kill you instantly, evasion boosting kills your sanity. Moves like Double Team and Minimize don't create competitive gameplay. They create a metagame where nothing matters except whether the accuracy RNG feels like ruining your life. There is no prediction, no counterplay, no skill expression, there is nothing. Just please hit my move, please. Where your opponent just stacks free boost. Game Freak loves gambling, but it takes it to an entirely new level. Evasion boosting is one of the most degenerate, skillless, tilt-inducing strats ever created. And everyone's had that moment in the Battle Factory where you're clicking into a double team Pokemon, you miss once, miss twice, you miss 3 times. Meanwhile, you are getting stalled out by Toxic plus Protect. This ain't even a strat, this is just straight up torture. That's exactly why evasion boosting has been kept far away from competitive. Baton Pass is one of the most infamous and outright toxic mechanics in competitive singles. It didn't just create broken sets, but created entire team styles dedicated to turning Pokemon into stat boosted demons. The concept is pretty simple. You stack some boost, you set up a substitute, and you pass everything to that one Pokemon that could end the game. Speed, bulk, power, you get everything. And suddenly you're facing down a Pokemon that basically looks hacked. Baton Pass was so degenerately powerful that every generation had to invent weird complex ban lists just to slow it down, or ban it outright. No other move in Smogon history required this much rulemaking. Countering is a nightmare too, you either need to phase it out or you stunned, but you can bet that Baton Pass teams always had counterplay. After Gen 5, they all ran Espion too, with Magic Bounce to bounce back your taunt and phasing attempts, while also having the move Stored Power. That's just great. A Stored Power so juiced it practically reached 1 million base power. At that point you ain't even playing competitive Pokemon anymore. Baton Pass was just a legal way of cheating. And that's why in later generations the move didn't even get a test. It was just banned outright. And that wraps up every move so uncompetitive that Smogon had to ban them completely. These aren't just strong moves, but just game breaking. A very big shout out to the channel members for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.